wanted to start, right, I kind of looked at your page and I thought, if I'm right, like you like target submissives.
Yes,
Um,
the majority.
yeah, that's kind of like your niche or whatever. And
Yes.
I thought the first question was like, do they have much in common psychologically? Do you think?
Wow. Oh, I don't know. I would say it really varies at the beginning. I feel like when you're new, you kind of get one type of person. I'd say person, but they are mostly men that I've personally found. But you do get women. And then the longer you stay in it, you just meet everyone. Like at this point, you'd ask me like 2 years ago, I might have said like, yeah, everyone's quite similar. But now, like, you'd be so surprised. You'd be so surprised who's like having sessions with DOMs and stuff, like from really like businessmen, like type A, really academic people, to like really right wing to like really liberal. Honestly, it's a very mixed bag. Very mixed bag. I've had some very just yeah. I know other people as well in the industry have had like the government people. Obviously, you can't say too much about that, and confidentiality is like one of our top things. But like, yeah, it's so crazy. You get that, and then you also get like 20-year-old like college students who don't know where they're going yet. Yeah, everywhere.
Well,
Weird thing.
so does it tend to be sort of single, desperate people, or is it like married people, or are people in a relationship that want are quite bored of their partner and want something else?
Again, mixture. I mean, I would say personally, mostly married people, or it depends where as well. I feel the places, the demographics are very different. For instance, if you go on like OnlyFans, I would say, well, they don't tend to tell me as much on there, but mostly kind of younger single people, I guess, because they know what OnlyFans is. But then on Twitter, a lot of like older married people who have like a very tame and boring life. But yeah, again, a mix. It's just everyone. I think everyone's a little bit submissive. I think it helps everybody. I would suggest it to everybody for spirit therapy at some point in your life. Go get all your responsibilities lifted and just enjoy being beneath for a minute. It's very healing. And I feel like a lot of people get to a point in their life where they realize that, married or not. But a lot of the marriages are really supportive of it, actually.
Really?
Oh wait, so it's not like their partners are doing this like behind the other partner's back. It's like it's a thing where they know and it's talked about.
It does happen, but yeah, the majority of my clients anyway, that they've told me about their marriages and stuff, they know.
Whoa.
Yeah. I've even spoken to partners or had kind of like DOMs with like more mothering roles. So they're like kind of just looking at out these people I've spoken to them. It's like, yeah, these people are like deep in it. Like it's their lifestyle at that point. It's like if you're living in a marriage with me, it's part of me, and we're gonna have to do something about it, otherwise it's gonna break us up. So and that's fine if that's not you. But I don't know if they went into it quite open or if that came out later and I'll have a laugh.
That's so interesting. But
I find it happens. It changes so much with like time of year as well. Like everything is so reliant on what's going on in the world. Time of year, like right now, it's where I see like younger people who aren't like it's. I'm getting less clients that are more financially mature. Yeah, because they're coming up with New Year's resolutions. Like I don't want to spend as much this year, or I've had to buy so many Christmas presents for like my wife and children, and I don't have the money to spend. But like I get more like younger people who are like, yeah, just got Christmas money from like work, and I've got nothing to spend it on because I don't have any responsibilities. So it really changes.
Isn't there like I saw something the other day, and it's like people that watch porn, they then they like the idea of watching something. So have you had it before when like someone's letting their partner do stuff with you and then they're kind of viewing it because they like that and they've been used to that?
I don't think I personally experienced that one, but I know that there are relationship dynamics like that, and I've had similar, but not, I don't think, like, I've had my clients say, I'm going to show, like, is it okay if I show these to my wife? I want her to, like, get a feel of what I'm into. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. But I've never, like, had the wife necessarily enjoying it to my knowledge. Like, she's never been a part of it, or the husband or whatever. But again, personally, and probably just from where I'm from, I have unfortunately, a very, much I love them, a quite boring client base.
So why in a relationship would a partner say, okay, it's all right for you to use your services?
Why or when did you say?
Yeah, why? Like, is it kind of like a reward for their partner? Like, oh, you've done this for so long, and I want you to enjoy some time with this woman, sort of thing, or is it something else?
I mean, maybe. Personally, I would say that's not the healthiest way to go about it. It's not like a reward thing, or like a reinforcement thing. It's just like a way that these people are and feel and what helps them. So I think it's more like just arrangements they'd have. That's like everybody has different needs. Everybody has different. For instance, I'm bisexual. I could be with a man that could be brilliant, but they would never give me all of my needs, and that's not their fault. They just can't physically do that. Similarly to how a lot of wives don't want to punch their boyfriends in the dick because that's just not their thing, and that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact that that person needs it. So I think it's more of like just an arrangement basis.
And do you get? I'll let you talk, John.
Yeah, I was just I find it might just be my closed-mindedness, but I find it difficult to imagine how a marriage can be like healthy and secure with that added component to it that someone is getting their needs fulfilled from somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Like, that dynamic doesn't really click in my head, but that might just be me. I don't know.
So I'm actually polyamorous as it is. So it probably really helps me with what I do because I can very much like disconnect things. And yeah, no, I can see that. And I used to be in that mindset, but I think as I realized that people just don't have all of the things that you can provide. Like you don't have everything, and that you can't help that. Like with like a bisexual situation, like that just can't. So it's hard to explain. It's definitely very hard to explain. But yeah, I think it's from my experience seeing people who tried things like that and people who haven't, people who've tried things like that and just been like, okay, I know I can't give you this, and you can get it, so let's talk about it in a respectful way and figure out something that works for both of us. Maybe it's just I want to know who they are, but you can just like flirt with girls if that's a thing. Like for instance, I've had relationships before where my boyfriend's like completely like you, like just never will be that, and then as the time's gone on, they've seen that I'm just kind of unhappy because I'm not being able to experience that side of life. So I want to be with this person for a while, like all the rest of my life, right? So I'm now thinking I'm never gonna. It's not that I'm not having these experiences now. I'm never gonna have those experiences that I wanted to have with women or trying out this or trying out that, and that's not the person that I love's fault. So why should it be at the expense of them? Like it shouldn't. I don't think it should be be with them or have those experiences. Like if you meet them before you've had them, that shouldn't be like a block between the two. I feel like if you love somebody, you should want them to have the life that they've always wanted, even if you can't give them that. You can still be there.
So how do you navigate maybe the fact that there can be questions to like trust or like self-image and self-worth stuff from like the person you're with? Like, oh, so I know you reinforced the idea that it's not their fault, but surely there may be instances where they go, well, oh, I'm clearly not good enough then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So sometimes I feel like that. So I'm seeing somebody now, and the kind of rules we have there, I don't want him to see anybody who's like me. I like he's got his little ginger Dom buddy. He doesn't need another one. But if he wants to go and like seek some different type of experience that I can't give him, like that's all fine. I don't know if I necessarily want to hear about it, because jealousy is real. Like it doesn't just not exist. Or for some people, they say that they've just like, I don't know, gone past that now. But I always experience it. I'm not saying I'm immune to it, but I think it's healthy. I think that's normal, and you've just gotta be like it's not my fault. Like I just don't have it. If it's something that you have and they're not having, they can't find enough of that in you, then that's maybe not what I would be up for. But like it's not my fault. Like I don't have it, so I wouldn't feel bad that I don't have enough of it, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing I would struggle with, is like the jealousy. But what I'm kind of getting from it is it's like, it's kind of exploring your sexuality. And
yeah,
why is that kind of a good thing? Because it kind of makes you happy, you find out more about yourself, that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just makes a sexually liberated person is just more open to discussion, to other people's perspectives, and well, honestly, discussion and listening to other people's perspectives is probably two of the things we need the most right now in society. Or we could definitely do with a hell of a lot more about also respect for women, which it is a mixed bag when it comes to it, for sure. There's a lot of like incels and stuff, but you also get people respecting women, seeing them as obviously goddesses and princesses and superior, which they don't necessarily take into the everyday life, but it kind of evens out patriarchy a little bit within those people, I find, anyway. Like a submissive on the street is going to be a lot more likely to be like kind to a woman, I find, than somebody who's like, nah, I would never let a woman hurt me because I'm a man. Like I definitely reckon they'd be a little bit nastier to me. And I don't know if that's just my prejudice or like what I experience, but I feel like that's a fairly, universal feeling between doms and women in general. Like my friends are always so happy to meet my submissives. They're always like, oh my God, to get them over, like let's do things or like go shopping and stuff. But they'd never want to meet any like a different client who's just like a switch or not a submissive. Because they tend to feel unsafe or just like unsure. I guess it's because they can't get the rules and get away with it. So it kind of makes sense. But
is that quite common then for like people to be submissives? Because to me, the stereotype is quite, the woman's normally the submissive one and the man's normally the dominant one sexually.
Yeah, I find it's either people who are younger and have just been more experimental with porn, or older people who have been in loads of scenarios, none of them this before, and are still craving something new. So they're like, give me something new. And sorry, what was the question?
Oh, the question is just like, is it common? Because I do guess it, to be fair. Like, if your woman's a queen, like, you're going to treat her like one.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think it's very common. Like, it's just everywhere I look. Maybe it's my eyes are open around.
I suppose me and Joe, I don't think we've like experienced the kind of trying out stuff sexually, because we haven't had like a kind of long enough relationship to.
Got a podcast called Open Minded. Get out there, or no, I'm joking. Paint yourself, but I recommend it at some point.
Well, what do you think about like fetishes? Because that's kind of part of it, right? Do you get kind of like all sorts of fetishes?
Oh my God, it's crazy. So obviously I don't know how much I can say because of confidentiality and stuff. I get such a mixed bag. There are things from literally, I'll say very similar, but not the exact things. And I won't say any names. I think that's what I can do. That'll be okay. But I have people who are like, can you lift this bottle up and like tell me it's really heavy, and then like say it to the camera, and then I'll send you money. And then you get like, can you fart on the camera? I haven't had that. I'm waiting for that. I can't make myself fart, but the day I get that request, it's a rite of passage. And then you get like, send me your socks. It's just crazy. A whole mixed bag. Something's completely not sexual at all. Those are my favorite. Like, send me a picture of your floor. It's mental. No end.
Some bloke wants a picture of a carpet.
Carpet. I've done a picture of a bin. I've done pictures of my shoulder.
A bin.
Yeah.
Just knocking one out to a wheelie bin.
I had a submissive, and I'm sure he's a lot more regular, so I'm sure he'll be okay with me saying that. But I had somebody come and just drop me off. I was feeling really ill, so he dropped me off like a little care package, which was really lovely, with like everything I needed. And he didn't ask for anything in return, but I gave him a bag of rubbish and he's undone. That, yeah.
The submissives actually like you treating them badly, like that. Like,
it's like,
I don't get that.
I'm a soft dom, so I can be a hard dom. For the majority of the time, I'm cool, but like caring. It's cool, but like at the end of the day, I have your best interest at heart, kind of thing. Like, I have people who've given me their bank details and everything, so I can log into their accounts to make sure they don't spend too much, and giving me like all this responsibility, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like, I want it all. People who are spending too much money on it want to spend less money on it, so they're like, I'll give you some, but like, you take control and make sure I don't do much. And they give me almost therapy. I always say to them, it's not therapy. I'm not trained in that, but like, walk me out of being like this as much, but like, don't make it go away. That's just what.
One I've never really understood is feet. People that are attracted to feet. Do you get that?
Yeah. Oh, always. And I've got a lot of people who start off like completely against it, and then by a year they're loving it.
But I don't understand why do you think they like feet?
Bro, why is the one you're questioning the feet and not the wheelie bin?
Yeah,
I've heard that it's because it's something like very scientific, and I've also heard that some really fucked up theories that I don't agree with. But I don't know. I think people just attract to anything. Armpits, that's a massive, massive one. As big as feet.
So where do people get these kinks from? Like, Joel, right? What's the psychology behind it?
This is what's interesting is this is a whole new world opened up to me that just I never consider in my daily life. So I'm quite like shocked by it. It's quite interesting, but I mean, I could bring in the clear ones to think about is like Freud's ideas. So like, human beings, we all repress these dark sexual desires, right? And the way that our society is structured and the social norms mean that we can just never like express any of those things with anyone because it's just never been accepted. And like your corner of the world allows that to happen. And it's like, that's what I was actually thinking about it at one point when you were talking. I was like, this is so Freudian, it's unreal. Like, yeah, mental.
I like taboo, isn't it? If something's taboo, people like it gives it value, kind of.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. The second you get into that side of stuff, it's a lot more money and a lot more, I don't know, weirdly looked down on, even though you're doing less. So I don't see why me selling a picture of my bin is worse than me selling a picture of my boobs. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me.
Wait, so you selling the picture of the bin you sold for more than your boobs?
Yeah, and also it's more like controversial for some reason. Like, I get more hate for it. Maybe that's just a me thing because I'm very like heavy and out there about the dom stuff. A lot of doms will like chat about it.
I suppose right, the bin, I suppose it could be like, this is you're trash, and then obviously the submissives like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in that scenario, it was just, I want you to make me pay for the most worthless shit possible. So I was like, okay, say no more. Here's a bin. Which is the thing as well, it's so endless because it's just the whole point is for it to be as bad as it can get. So there is like, I love that as well. I can do no wrong. Like they can't be like, oh, I didn't like that picture, because that's the whole fucking point.
It's almost like some kind of religion worship.
Yeah, you get a lot of that as well, for sure.
Like
A lot of people don't like that because they think it's like not PC, but if you want to call me God, like if that makes you controversial, I'm sorry, but
you might have touched this a little bit earlier on, but like, can you tell when you're interacting with these people that they are like not in a great place mentally, or do they seem like normal people that you kind of shake hands with on the street and say good afternoon to, or is there clearly something that their life is missing, or like the reason they're going to you is because there is this big hole in their life that is clearly like making them dissatisfied and they're trying to fill that through what you do?
it's definitely a mixture, I think. Yeah, I see a lot of people kind of like done. The worst I see is people who are just like sexually exhausted, I would call it, who've just done everything and been everywhere and are now so like overfilled with like experiences that they want like the most brutal things they can get, and that to me is unhealthy. I don't know if it is, but to me I would see it as unhealthy. But you can normally kind of suss that out pretty quick. They're just more, I don't know, it's just something about them, the way that they speak to you online especially. But I can normally tell a sub in person, they're just very, it's not just that they're respectful of women, they're like slightly worshipy of women, which we love. You don't have to be a sub, but like that, and then always paying for things, and yeah, I don't know, I definitely do get a lot of people that seem to be missing some part of their life. But the majority of the time, it's just a lot of, like, people just wanting to like try new things and have fun, especially with this like age of anonymity. Everyone's like, oh, I might as well like figure out what I like now. It's so accessible and easy. Just at least I can live my life knowing what I want. I get a lot of just like one time people are like, I have no idea. Tell me what this world is like. Give me something random. I normally would give them like a little session, just a little bit of bullying, and do a little bit of tap into a bit of a mean schoolgirl thing. So kind of going a bit psychologically. It's almost like EMDR because you're like working through something. Like we've all got a little bit of trauma from those bitchy schoolgirls, you know. So like, it's kind of healing to some people to work through it in that way. Like I'm back there, but I'm safe now, and they are giving me this attention, and in a way love. Not really, but like also in a way love. That's just one example of the different scenarios, obviously.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite mad. Go on, Jake.
I was just going to say, when I think I can kind of understand it. If you're in a marriage with a girl when you're married for 30 years or whatever, sex is going to get boring. It's going to get old. So you would want to change it up a little bit, or at least you'd think about it. So I think that's a good positive that you offer.
Yeah, I get a lot of people coming to me and being like, can you help me introduce my wife to this sort of stuff? What more, because also, can you tell me how to introduce my wife to this sort of stuff? Maybe if it's coming from like a woman's perspective, they'll understand it more and they'll think it's not as creepy. And I don't know. And it normally does work. Most of the people I've spoken to about stuff like that gone on to have kinky relationships, so I'll give myself credit for that.
Joe, what were you gonna say?
I wanted to pivot slightly, but like not to get too personal. If there's anything you don't want to say, obviously just don't say it. But I'm interested in how you got into this, not necessarily into like the journey of how you discovered it, but I'm like, were you into like acting and drama in the past and things like this? Like, how did you, like, what was the experience of realizing like, this is something you could do and maybe I could try it? Like, what was that like for you?
It came in two waves for me. One wave I mean, both waves for me aren't exactly. I wouldn't idolize these at all, but you can definitely get into it in healthy ways. I just personally kind of didn't. The first wave for me was I was kind of too young, definitely too young, and just quite sexualized in my group of friends and just partying. Very, skins euphoria, that kind of shit. Very UK teenager scene. And I just very quickly realized how, like, what you could do with that, like the amount of power you had. Also, like, how bad it could be. So then I stopped and I was like, hey, this is too much, this is too much. And then I got really hurt. So this is the second wave. I got really hurt by this real man. Very classic domme beginner story. Like, a lot of us have been here. But he was really awful, hurt me quite badly. So I got out of it and I wanted to hurt some people, but I wanted to do it in a healthy way where they wanted it. And I could just like work through my anger and like get my revenge almost in a healthy way. So 2 waves. And then I was like, oh shit. I think Twitter, I'd heard about like femdom, even nomination and stuff, but I got it and I was like, I'll just look. I've done like one or 2 sessions. So I'd been like selling like pictures and like doing little sessions and stuff, but not dom stuff for on and off. Yeah. Then I saw some other people doing it and I was like, oh, that looks so healing. That's what I want. That's what I want. So I just did it. Yeah. But that last wave only was like 3 years ago. So it's I'm still in my baby era.
Wow. That's quite impressive. Go on, Jake.
You like building like a sex empire now then?
Yes.
Good question. Good question. Yeah, that's interesting that there's like a pattern between like people who have had difficult experiences in the past and then go into your line of work. Do you think that's just your own experience or do you think that's genuinely a trend? Because it makes sense in my head.
Yeah, again, it's a mixed bag. I've heard so many different beginner stories, but yeah, there are trends for sure. And the pipeline from like abuse victim to like pro abuser, but like in a good way, is a real one. And honestly, the women and the men, but mostly the women, just because at the minute we're more women in the industry of like dominations, talking about like them, theys and thems and stuff. So like LGBT plus people often do like kind of more femdom stuff, rather than like the male dom stuff. But all the people that I've met doing that who have been abused in the past, they're all doing so much better for it. And yeah, so I'd recommend if that's where you've been, just trying it out a little bit.
Do you reckon most of the pleasure from sex is psychological? Because to me, the feeling doesn't even feel that good. Like I'd rather just have an apple or something. Like, no, it's the same amount of pleasure. It's the same amount of pleasure having a shag as an apple. So if they're not in it for the feeling, they're in it for something psychologically, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want to push back on that though, Jake, because I feel like pleasure is a physical thing. Like maybe like connection to the other person, that's psychological, but like there's a whole different level of stimulus when you're like having sex to eating an apple. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it depends on the apple, man. I mean, it was a proper good pink lady in a perfect ripeness.
No, but look, it's just like sex is so like hushed in our society. It's like the best thing ever. You can lose your virginity when you get it. It's a pleasure. Well, for men, like for women, it's probably more. Like then they have like twice the amount of like nerves or something.
No, especially not when you're younger. It takes men a while to catch up to. Normally.
Yeah, and what obviously you got like post-nut syndrome, which as far as I understand it, it's just like kind of feels you feel kind of like shit after Where actually you don't have that with an apple.
No, you don't. To be fair, that's true.
And the only thing I get is that the woman's beautiful, but then so's an apple. Like there's beauty in everything.
I think we discovered your fetish.
Wait, what did you say?
I think we've discovered your fetish.
Oh, the apples. Oh no.
Absolutely.
But I get more pleasure from food than sex. But that just might be my exes haven't been good haven't been good. So
I would definitely recommend more psychological, or mind-based stuff. Then try getting close.
what's the kind of directions, like dominant, submissive?
Try it all. Try it all. You're young.
What else is there? Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think experimenting's like, I think it's very healthy sexually, and there's probably a problem with people not doing it enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are doing it in the wrong way and not talking about it and feeling shamed for it. That's the big difference. Like, that's what I think makes it healthy to unhealthy.
Wait, so people, how do they do it in the wrong way? They just kind of keep it inside. They're not honest with their partner about it.
Yeah, or they're just like, the worst thing you can do is to go on like a hub or like a free porn browser, like Pornhub. It's just like, I mean, yeah, okay. Some creators do want you to consume their content like that. That's fine. But the majority, like, I would not recommend that being your outlet, or even Twitter. I would say like an OnlyFans, like a paid thing. You want to be ethical as you can with it. There's like, it's already going to make you feel a little bit ashamed. You've got that post-nut therapy thing because of the societal pressure that's put on it. So you at least want to make sure, like, for the fucking sake of the world, that you're doing it ethically. At least do it.
Wait, do you do porn as well, or is it just OnlyFans?
What the difference?
Well, I thought like upper porn, like people are filming you and putting stuff.
Oh right, no.
Kind of like a set, like an actor thing, whereas OnlyFans kind of more one-to-one messaging.
I mean, it can kind of cross over. We do like events, creator events and stuff, which are a little bit more production-y, with like sets and stuff or shoots. But I think that kind of that line's been so blurred now. It's almost just not there. Like, it's so much more in the hands of the creator now than some big company that's draining them for all their money and views and fame and just using them for their body. But I think some people do definitely just like do like work for like companies and stuff, but like even that, they're so much more involved with it now. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Like OnlyFans isn't like a thing, isn't like that, or porn. It's just like that is the site that you would use to do whatever type of when you're doing, whether it's fetish like me or whatever, but I'm gonna do a mixture. But yeah, like you get people on there who just like work out or cook, and then there are some people that cook naked, and then it goes right down to what I'm doing and right back up. Like, it's such a range.
Yeah, like some people don't even have to share their body that much on OnlyFans. They can
Definitely made a very good career for myself just selling like the pictures of the floor and stuff. I just was like, oh, you know what? I would like to be on my deathbed looking back, all these pictures of me looking bad as hell, showing everyone at the nursing home, like, look at me, I'd like to do that. So I'm making that happen now while I'm young and pretty.
And the psychology behind not kind of showing yourself off is that you get people wanting it. They want to see it. That they're very, like, is more kind of exclusive and stuff. So I suppose that could be where there's money in that.
Yeah, for sure. But also then there's an argument to a lot of creators who are just like kind of have it all on show, get more, I don't know if they're getting more money, but they're getting more, definitely more like followers and views for it. It's kind of what would you rather, to be more famous or to be more rich? But I just like doing crazy weird things with crazy weird people. Like, it's just so fun. And then modeling also, it's just like a good way to like segue into modeling, which is just fun.
Yeah. So when like your family members and maybe like older generations, when they ask you like, what do you do? What do you say? Do you know what I mean? I'm interested.
Well,
like around the dinner table at Christmas, like what's that conversation like?
I'm really lucky. My immediate family is really supportive. They don't like me doing it. They don't quite understand it, but they just want me to be happy, and they know this is how I'm happy. And then my slightly more other family, I've got a very mixed bag. I've got kind of more strict middle class people on one side, and then like the Mancunians on the other side. So both of them I wouldn't want to tell for different reasons, but I'm starting to, because I know they'll accept and love me, which is fine. It's just like it's gonna be such a conversation, and I haven't quite gotten there yet with all that. Don't see them too much. And then my other side, they're a bit older, so they're just going to be told it's modelling and shown the pre-clothes and stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting because like there are those kind of logistical like barriers to navigate with that line of work. Like it's good that those people close to you that matter the most support it. So.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it makes you realise how quick people or how much people talk about themselves, because you're always waiting for the "and what do you do?" question, and then you realise like, oh, I didn't get that at all. I just didn't get any question. Or like the opposite, it's like, oh my god, that was really difficult. I had to like maneuver my way around that really carefully. Oh wow, that person really was interacting with me. That was nice. So kind of a good buffer. The whole thing was quite a good buffer actually.
To be fair though, I do get the appeal of working in the sex industry. Like, you basically get paid to have sex.
I mean, that's the lot of the idea, but in the reality of it, I'm quite close with a lot of creators, and I do my own creations. So, I know a lot of people like haven't had sex with their own partners for like months because they have to be certed every time they film with a new person, or it's like so much travel and so much like expenses and shooting and like model work, and you can't like do anything with like the face, or if you do, it has to be very calculated, and even like just the whole like you can't shave for a date because you've got a shoot the next week and you have to be like not prickly by then, stuff like that. Like it might start out being like a good way for a little quick shag in a butt, but it ends up being like such a fucking intense career path for sure. Like if you want to make any real money or be any good at it, like to be respected, you need to be a decent person, you need to be certified and verified before you create with anyone.
Well, yeah, I reckon like anything, once it becomes a job, some of the fun and the excitement is drawn out of it, because then it becomes something you have to do, that you're doing for an outcome.
Pay for it as well. Like certs, you have to pay for every month. So you're literally paying at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of hard work no one really sees.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
but then the good part of it obviously is that you can just like, if I wanted to, I could stop working for 2 months and come back, and yeah, my engagement would be awful, but I could still make hopefully enough money to live. And it's always kind of like an option there. There's definitely massive pros, but like definitely don't want to be putting out there that it's just easy, because it's going to be such a shock when you realise it's not.
And what's like do you ever think long term and be like, oh, am I still going to be able to do this at 45? Like, you know, what's, because like, I don't know, maybe you can, but in my head, there's a restricted time period on how long this can be what you do. So like, do you have those kind of thoughts, or do you kind of just kind of go, right, I'm winging it for now and we'll see what happens? Like,
well, at first I was like kind of winging it. And then I'm not gonna let my dad's voice got in my head because he was like, well, it's just so temporary, then you have nothing. I was like, that's kind of true. But these days, I think the way niches are going and stuff, like I reckon, as long as I've got like the business savvy from my career to understand how to market for certain niches and how to get seen that by the right people, I'll be fine. There are people that want anything. There are people that like, I'll be all right. There's something for everything out there, and I can be that one of them, you know?
Because if you were to pivot to like another career, people would maybe find out, or there'd be something dangerous about it we don't tell.
But not going on right now. Andy is doing a lot to help people stop getting fired for working on OnlyFans and stuff and break that stigma and conversation. So really hoping for that changes and working towards that. That's why I'm not trying to speak more on things like that. I am actually going to have to go soon, unfortunately, because I've got to shoot.
That's fine. We'll stop in like 5 minutes. I just want to ask like one more question. It's like, what's like the general trend of this industry going in? What is it that like a lot of people, a lot of customers tend to want, and that you think they're going to want in the future?
Honestly, I have no idea. The world's changing so much. Like, I think this job is impacted so much by like the economy and just the state of everything at all times. Like, it's really just going to depend on the world. If it kept on this trajectory, which I doubt it will, because everything's coming at us from every angle recently. But if it keeps on this trajectory, I reckon it would just be more self-expression and like love and understanding, hopefully. Not to be like a hippie or anything. But yeah, I definitely think it'll be more people based around like conversation and openness. Because at the heart of it, that's what I'm seeing a lot of, like more people just being like, okay, I'm one bites a little bit, we're all a little bit fun, we're a little bit kinky.
There you go. Yeah, it's a nice little moral. Yeah, thank you for coming and talking to us. Definitely opened my mind today, for sure.
Yeah, cool. One thing as well, I had a couple points I did want to make, which you guys kind of covered. One more that I did want to make was about men in the industry. And we're just getting like such an influx of shitty men in the industry, like shitty male doms who have seen women profiting off this and they're like, you know what, I'm going to get in on that and I'm going to destroy it. And if we go on that trajectory, I don't see a very good or positive future for like sex industry or any part of self-expression, to be honest, later down the line. It's just so many entitled and just like nasty men. So there are some brilliant ones. Just Josh, 420, Hot Plant Daddy, he's my personal favourite. To name a few, there's some really brilliant ones. So if you are gonna like, if anyone's watching this and does want to like try it out, but is into the male side of it, at the minute, I've had like 3 experiences in the last 2 weeks alone with really awful ones. So just like be careful, make sure they're like vetted by other creators and you know like other ones that work with them and stuff, because that's not to hate on men, there are some fucking brilliant ones out there as well.
So it's kind of like the Andrew Tate side of things, of like controlling and being like aggressive and stuff.
Yeah, one of the people I was having problems with this week was very Tate supportery.
Alright, well, thank you for your time, Clover. If people wanted to like find your Instagram, where should they go? Or wherever they should go?
So my Instagram is Clover Kushh X, or Clover Kushh with 3 H's. My OnlyFans is Clover Kushh, and my Twitter is also just Clover Kushh. Might have 2 H's actually, or just variations of Clover Kushh.
All right, thank you. Cool. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Fuck it out. That man. Oh, it was so weird, bro. That was so weird.
There's
Like-
a dark point that we don't see every day.
No, it's so dark. With the bit where she was like, some guys wanted a picture of bin. Like, I couldn't believe that shit. Like a picture of a carpet. Like, what the fuck? I just imagine some sad, angry little man whacking one out to a carpet.
Oh my god.
Honestly, like, I don't know. Also, I a lot of things, but I didn't want to like make it confrontational, so I left it.
Wait, what did you ask her?
I don't think polyamory is a good thing.
You don't think polyamor?
Polyamory, like being in relationships with multiple different people,
All right.
I don't think it's a good thing.
No. We could have told her that hookup culture isn't very good as well.
Yeah, like I really just think like the main like benefit of marriage is so that you've like made that ultimate sacrifice that you're willing to be with one person and you can build that connection with one person. This idea that like, oh, they won't fill my needs, then I have to get my like needs from other people. I'm like, up. That to me, that's just like I'm gonna fulfill all of my sexual desire. And like I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
No.
You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was eye opening at least.
Well, you can only get to talk to your sister about that now.
Oh. Jesus. The fact that
Your sister's going.
yeah, I just don't want to ask about any details, but it is like
Your sister's gonna have people worshipping her.
like there's fucking I bet the wheelie bin in our kitchen has been used as a stimulus.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Anyway, bro, I'm up for continuing to chat, but can you call me and I'll put you on my headphones on because I've got like laundry to put away and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
All right, call me on the phone, all right?
I'm recording and stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.